Hello, and welcome to 100 Suggestions for Fallout 4. This is a series of videos going over what can be done to improve the next Fallout game. I've separated my suggestions into the following categories: NPCs and enemies, weapons and items, missions, visuals, in-game universe, and outside promotion. And so, without further ado, here is 100 Suggestions for Fallout 4. Part 1. NPCs and Enemies. Number 1. Allow us to have more than 2 companions. Companions have always been a big part of the Fallout universe. I remember playing Fallout 2 and having my A-team of Vic, Cassidy, Sulik, and Lenny traveling with me throughout the wasteland. It was great to see this brought back in Fallout 3 and New Vegas, but even by New Vegas, we could only control one humanoid and one non-human companion at a time. Now, I understand that having multiple companions works well in the top-down 2.5D pen and paper world of Fallout 1 and 2, but with Fallout 3 there could be some issues. Even though it's a huge world, there's not always a lot of space in some situations for all those NPCs. And having too many companions could make combat too easy. But I really like the feeling of getting all these people from all these different walks of life to join me at the same time on my quest. I've seen some mods that show it is at least possible to do, so I think it is an option worth considering. Number 2. More control over our companions. Let me be able to assign particular weapons and armor, instead of the companion choosing whatever one they think is best. Also, let me give real-time commands for specific attacks when I'm in the middle of battle. Number 3. Let our companions level up. Give them, and us, new perks to use. This one's pretty straightforward. Let our companions become better as we become better. Let them get new and upgrade versions of the perks they already have, as opposed to just ones they get from completing their companion quest. Number 4. Let me know when my companions are attacking or under attack, and let me have more control over their kill cam shot. If I'm focusing on a battle, trying to kill the enemy in front of me, oftentimes the camera will quickly switch to one of my companions' slow-mo killings of another enemy that's 100 feet away from me. My position is turned around with the camera, so now I'm facing my companion's direction, which makes me lose track of my enemy and makes it hard for me to loot his body afterwards. Give me a more informative indicator of what my companions are doing during battle, and give me the ability to turn off their kill cam shot. Number 5. Let companions use chems and other stat boosters. This would give us more of an edge in combat, but also give us the challenge of making sure they don't become addicted and suffer the consequences. Number 6. Different behavior with animals, both attacking and neutral. There are a lot of animals in the wasteland, and a lot of them want to kill you. But for those more docile creatures, I'd like to see them behave more like animals, roaming in herds and finding habitats to live in. For those that want to kill you, give them more of a strategy than just all rush at once at the same time and getting up on you. Number 7. If we talk to an NPC, let him say one thing and then stop, or say nothing at all. This kind of repeated dialogue can work in old-school RPGs, but it sticks out like a sore thumb in modern games. Just give us one tidbit of info they can say to us, and let us move on. At the very least, have a limit of how many times a line of dialogue can be repeated once you enter an area. Number 8. Have crippling an enemy's head make more of an impact in combat. One of the best things about combat in Fallout is that shooting an enemy in a certain part of the body can greatly alter the tide of battle. You shoot a person in the leg, they start to limp. You shoot them in the arm, they may drop their gun. You shoot their gun, it may become unusable. But if you shoot them in the head, well, maybe you'll get a cool headshot explosion. Or maybe their head gets crippled, which, besides them momentarily holding their heads in pain, doesn't seem to change much in the combat system. Now, maybe some of their stats have been reduced, like perception or agility, but I'd like to see it go one step further. Maybe have the enemies start attacking other enemies by mistake, or attack more sluggishly. Number 9. Better transition in enemy attacking strategies. Make it more seamless when enemies go from guns to grenades to melee. Give them a battle plan. Have them work as teams. This goes for both their weapon choice and their animations of attack as well. Number 10. More enemies like the Cazador that force you to change up your strategy. When I first encountered the Cazador, I was instantly terrified of this enemy. Its flying patterns were erratic, it seemed to attack in pairs, and it had a surprisingly powerful sting attack. I died multiple times because I didn't understand that its attacks were costing me HP, but also poisoning me. But now I've learned my lesson. I never go anywhere in the Mojave without some anti-venom. Fallout needs more enemies like this. Enemies that make you change up your weapons, your healing items, and your attack strategy in order to take them down. Number 11. Don't have people just standing around doing nothing. When I first started this list of suggestions for Fallout 4, I knew that I didn't want to do the list in order of importance. That's because even though some of my suggestions are small and petty, they all deserve a spot on the list. With that being said, if I was making a list based on importance, this would be suggestion number 1 without question. Nothing takes me out of a game as quickly as frozen, emotionless NPCs. Having them stand around stationary, sometimes facing a blank wall, is bad enough. But even worse is how they will ping-pong across an area without a care in the world. It's like something out of Lemmings. I've tried to understand why this stands out so much when compared to other games that use lots of NPCs. In a game like Watch Dogs, NPCs have a giant area to move around in. They also have little to do with the main character. Look at this guy here. He's just sitting reading newspaper. If I walk over to him, he'll drop his newspaper and ask me what car I want. Now, I could sit back here all day and watch him read his newspaper in his little workstation. It wouldn't be the most realistic thing in the world to watch him read it non-stop, but it's far more realistic than to have him just sitting there lifeless, staring out into space, until I, the main character, come over and break him out of his spell. Now, Watch Dogs is a fast-paced, third-person adventure game, so I know it's not the best game to make a comparison to, so let's take a look at another one. Rage is another post-apocalyptic adventure, the majority of it being done in first person. Like Fallout, we still have characters that will quote-unquote do nothing, but in this game they do it much better. They look relaxed and content to be there, not like someone removed the emotion chip from the back of their head. Now, with this being a first-person shooter, I don't spend a lot of time with the NPCs, since I'm usually on my way to my next mission, and this fact makes it a much more frustrating juxtaposition. In terms of characters creating an engaging, believable experience, Fallout should have the well-animated, lifelike characters who bring the world to life, and Rage is the game that should have the stock, lackluster NPCs milling around, but it's just the opposite. So, in conclusion, no more staring at walls, no more random movements around an area, more natural sleep cycles, more jobs or tasks for them to do, and overall, make the NPCs feel more natural for the world that has been created for them.